The Oliver Partnership School serves students in 1st through 5th grade in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Oliver was identified as a turnaround school in 2012. Massachusetts turnaround schools that made significant improvements implemented 4 key practices. These schools created vibrant communities of practice. They were deliberate about instruction. They used data to meet student needs. And they established safe environments in which to learn. At the Oliver Partnership School, practices related to leadership, shared responsibility, and professional collaboration are especially strong.
When we became a level 4 school, we were devastated. We were frustrated, we were upset because we were doing what we thought was best. We were doing everything we possibly could. But we were also not surprised with that because of the lack of vision, the lack of support. We wanted to succeed, we just didn't have the tools to do so.
So the Oliver Partnership School started 2 years ago, and it was actually birthed out of the notion after we became a level, the Henry K. Oliver School became a level 4 school. Their teachers went to the Lawrence Teachers Union, and the union got in contact with the district, and they asked if there was some type of a partnership that they could forge. In January, a group of Henry K. Oliver teachers, a group of district administrators, and union leadership all met for 4 days and put together a plan for the Oliver Partnership School. So we were actually able to keep all of the teachers that showed an interest in coming to Oliver Partnership School, which resulted in about an 80% retention of teachers.
The teachers, the staff at the Oliver has always worked really, really hard together. The problem is that we had a lot of turnover with administration, and there was a lack of a vision or a mission for the school.
Right now you're going to do a turn and talk and think about the following questions. How would you describe Rosa Cerruti? How did she react to the strike? And explain your thinking to your partner using evidence from the text.
And there was no professional development, there was no teacher development that would trickle down to the kids.
The entire premise of the school was actually created, we were going to have an assistant principal model, or we were going to have this new administrative model, and which we chose was a co-leader model. So there's not multi-levels of staff here, there's basically only 2 levels of staff here, co-leaders and then teachers.
The Oliver Partnership School already had a turnaround plan when the school opened in September of 2013, but it really took our monitoring site visit in February of 2014 to really galvanize us to move forward, in that it gave us a focus and it gave us very specific feedback, and from there we could have direction on how to propel the school forward. It's like you seem like you've had some success with this, either genre or unit in general. How is this the same or different from how you taught it before, where you felt less success? Is that a hard question? You know what I mean? Like, as far as how does it feel, how did you teach it differently this time that you feel like, because the results were really good.
Yeah. I think knowing the end result and what we really wanted them to understand and what we really wanted them to have by the end was helpful. Like, basically backwards planning. Like, we knew what we wanted our big questions to be, our essential questions to be, and we were able to work backwards, and I think that was really helpful.
I joined the teaching staff in September of 2013 as the mathematics coach. So the year before this one, I was the mathematics coach. And what I found was a tremendously committed group of teachers who hadn't had a lot of professional development. And so getting teachers together for weekly meetings, common planning time, where we would look at student work and examine it according to the state standards. Changing the culture was the idea that it's okay to try something new, and if it doesn't work perfectly the first time, we can always come back to the table, put our problems out on the table and keep going. I think the way we started that was we have instructional coaches that went into classrooms and started doing model lessons. So this idea that you could teach in front of another adult and that be part of what we do here was born. Shifting that culture to a culture that's about learning and not about catching somebody doing things wrong has been a really important one.
Now we have a teacher-run school. Teachers have a strong voice in what the students need. We are able to ask for professional development that we think that we need. We have built trusting relationships with teachers, with the co-leaders. I believe all of us feel comfortable talking about our strengths and our weaknesses, and we are able to really work together to become a stronger professional staff.
Our major thrust for professional development this year has been implementing a reader's workshop model, where children learn about specific genres or specific strategies, and then students have a chance to implement those strategies through the gradual release of responsibility model.
Remember how we used our 5-finger retelling strategy? Yeah. Okay. So our thumb is the characters. Our first finger is the setting. And what's the setting? Where
it takes place.
Where the story takes place. And then we have our problem. And then we have our events. And our events are beginning, middle, and end. And then we have a solution to our problem, right? All right. So boys and girls, I'm going to read a few pages of A Pocket for Corduroy. After I'm done reading a few pages, I'm going to retell, okay, to model and review that, our 5-finger retelling strategy.
We have defined as a staff with our teacher leadership team 3 major goals for next year. One is around accountable talk. The other one is around having very targeted interventions for our students of need. And the third is around continuing our enrichment opportunities. So from a holistic perspective, it's my responsibility to do the thrust of the professional development around the accountable talk. It's Nancy's job to help us procure the materials and then help us organize the schedule and so that we can make all of those things happen. In my 18 years of teaching experience here in the Lawrence Public Schools, I've had wonderful opportunities to develop as a teacher. Over that amount of time, I was given wonderful opportunities to develop and build my own capacity as a teacher. Those are the opportunities I'm trying to bring to my staff here at the Oliver Partnership, where I put my stake in the ground in teacher development, and that if teachers are given a chance to build their own capacity, if teachers are given choice in what they're teaching and how they're working and how they're collaborating with one another, that the kids will benefit.